All right, guys. So we have a new Star Wars show on Disney Plus because Andor has finally come to the streaming service. Now, I'm going to be honest. Going into Andor, I wasn't really excited for Andor. I liked Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was good. What
Mm-hmm.
probably the best of the Disney Star Wars movies thus far. But I really didn't care for Diego Luna. No, Diego Luna's um Cassian Andor in that. I didn't really care about much of the characters in Rogue One. So when they announced that they were doing Andor, I was kind of like, why? Why are they doing this? Like
Same.
why do we need this? And then we got closer to the release date. Those trailers came out. I tried avoiding them because I wanted to go in blind, but I watched the one that they released with D23 and then I got really excited because the show looked really good. Then
Mm-hmm.
the early reviews came out and they were really good. People were saying if you fell out of love with Star Wars, this is the one to watch. So got up early this morning, watched the first 3 episodes of Andor, and I gotta say, it's good. Like it's it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. Like first of all, the from a technical standpoint, I love at least for these first 3 episodes that they didn't use the volume because the volume
Mm.
it used in Mandalorian, used in Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan, I think it works well enough. Like it's not bad at all, but you can feel the difference with this show that they're actually on location, that they're actually shooting in real environments. It's totally more immersive in that way. And another thing that I really liked about these first 3 episodes is the storyline I thought was really interesting. I don't know if it's going to be the whole show, but at least for these 3 episodes, it was like a fugitive um kind of storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that George Lucas, when he talks about how he created Star Wars, he says you got to make it. I'm paraphrasing, but he said you have to make it otherworldly, but still have familiarity for the audience to connect to. And this
Right.
was a full-on story of a fugitive and a up and coming detective in a way who's trying to prove himself, trying to capture the fugitive who's on the run. And I was
Mm.
not expecting that from this show at all. I did
Yeah.
find that there was a little bit of a pacing issue for me because they do flashbacks, they cut back to a young Cassian.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like those scenes gelled as well throughout the rest of the episode, but
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Yeah. Same.
the acting by everyone was phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
really really good.
Definitely.
I really like this Imperial guy. I think he's Imperial. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I really like him. He's going after Cassian. Really into his story so far. I think they've given him a really good motivation to the fact that he's not just a bad guy. You understand why he's doing what he's doing, which I really liked. And I loved this freaking droid. I think his name is B2 Emo. Steals the show. Like I
Yeah.
was worried because they weren't going to bring in K2SO into this show with Andor, but
Mm-hmm.
this droid totally takes his place fine for me. Like I love this droid. I thought the
Yeah.
humor really worked too. It had that classic Star Wars humor that you find in the original trilogy where it's kind of from the characters and situational, and
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the return to that. And the acting, like I said, was really good so far. I'm not gonna lie, I still don't love the character of Cassian Andor yet. I still am not really into his character. I kind of see him at this point as just the vessel who's taking us through the world. But I'm more open minded to giving him a shot more so than I've been before.
Yeah.
So this was a good hit for me. What did you think, man? What did you think of the first 3 episodes of Andor?
I mean, the first 3 episodes, they definitely work together so well that it was definitely smart of them to release all three with the debut because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if they just left it with the first episode, I would have been like, okay, yeah, but having that three-part pilot of sorts definitely was like, oh, okay, I can dig this. Uh, I think the biggest thing that I appreciate about it so far, and it sounds like the whole show is going to be, is that it's taking itself seriously. Like it's
Yes.
not just trying to throw cameos and references to the greater Skywalker saga and everything. It's not built on fan service. That's what showrunner Tony Gilroy said in interviews. Like, this is a story in the Star Wars universe. It's not fan service, the musical, which I'm like, yes.
And we're not on Tatooine. We're not on Tatooine.
Yeah, because that's like it didn't bother me like in the beginning, but now it's like it's starting to get a little overwhelming at times. Like with Mandalorian season two, it's like okay, yeah, bring Boba Fett back, makes sense. You want to bring Ahsoka to live action? Okay, sure, yeah, okay, fine. And then then you got Bo-Katan from Clone Wars, and of course Luke Skywalker. Where it's like okay, cool moment and all, but I kind of liked it when the show was more its own separate entity.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and of course, we got Book of Boba Fett and the Obi-Wan show, which are very fan servicey, where it's like, can we just have a show or a movie that's just trying to do something within this universe that's not calling back to itself all the time? That's been my biggest takeaway so far, but also with what we've got so far, I think it's got some really creative elements going on, like the part where I forget what the characters' names are all, but when they're in that factory and all the spindles start falling down from the
Mm-hmm.
roof and everything, I thought that was super cool. If that's just a small taste of what we're gonna get for the rest of the season, I'm totally on board. Like I can't wait to see where all these characters go, and I think this will be. It's definitely got the potential to be something really special and not just a toy commercial.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, kind of going back to a point that you made, um, with the Disney Plus shows, and this is more so on a Marvel side than I think Star Wars has had. They
Hmm.
always have, I feel, really good starts, and then when you get into the middle, by the time you get to the end, they always kind of fizzle out for me a little bit more. They don't always stay consistent. Star Wars has been better with that. I didn't really like Book of Boba Fett, but Mandalorian, both season 1 and 2, managed to stick
Hmm.
the landing for me. And even Obi-Wan, even though I was up and down on that series a little bit, the ending of that I thought was really good and had a
Yeah.
good conclusion. Although I will sidetrack a little bit and say that this show kind of makes me mad because this is the budget and this is the look that Obi-Wan should have had. Just saying, like the ships, the air travel, everything in this looks 100 times better than what we got in Obi-Wan. Not that Obi-Wan was bad, but moving on. Real quick, before we continue with this video, I want to tell you guys about the great folks over at MoviePalette.com. MoviePalette takes a color of every scene from your favorite movie and puts it on a beautiful canvas. Behind me right here, I got their Back to the Future selection hanging up above me, my favorite movie of all time. And MoviePalette.com has thousands of your favorite movies to choose from. And for the wonderful viewers of the Zach Millen Talks Movies YouTube channel, you guys get 15% off of any movie palette of your choice when you go to moviepalette.com and use the promo code ZachTalks15 at the checkout. That's ZACH Talks 15. Not only will you guys get 15% off of the movie palette of your choice, but you'll also be helping out the Zach Millen Talks Movies channel tremendously. So go to moviepalette.com and use the promo code ZachTalks15 at the checkout to get 15% off of any movie palette of your choice today. And thank you to the good people over at Movie Palette for partnering up and supporting the Zach Millen Talks Movies YouTube channel. All right, guys, let's get back to the video. One thing
Yeah.
that you brought up that did kind of come into my mind as I watched it,
Mhm.
I am glad that they dropped 3 episodes because they've
Yeah.
kind of already told us that it's going to be structured in a way that 3 episodes is a storyline that leads into another 3 episode storyline. Um,
Oh,
when
yeah.
when the first episode ended, I kind of felt like you. I was like, ah, okay, and then kept watching.
And then
We're
kept
not going to
watching.
have that next week. They're only going to drop 1 episode next week. Do you think the way that this
Yeah.
show is structured and what we've seen with these first 3 episodes, do you think that's going to end up hurting the show? Because this 3 episode start really did play out as a beginning, middle, and end to me of a story. It felt like a first
Mhm.
act, a second act, to a third act with the third episode. Do you
Yeah.
think? I mean, I know that if they drop all 3 episodes at once every time, the show's going to be over in like 2 weeks. But do you think the fact that they've structured it in that way and they're only going to be dropping 1 episodes from now on, do you think that's going to hurt the audience's view of the show?
Maybe not necessarily because these first 3 episodes, like you said, they did feel contained in their own sense, but now it's like things have been set up. We know,
Mhm.
like, we've got our leads, we've got our droid, we've got our antagonists, we've got a feel for everything. So I think that will benefit things going forward, since it is going to be, single episode releases from here till episode 12. I believe it's a 12 episode
Yeah.
series this time. So I think it just comes down to, is it going to keep telling a compelling story each week?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. I've honestly, like, been in my head, I've been debating, I'm like, "Should I just wait for the next 3 episodes? Should I just wait 3 weeks until I have the next 3 episodes available that I can just binge them again?" Because I'm not gonna lie, if they had only dropped the first episode, I would have been disappointed. I would have been, unfulfilled is the word I would use. That first episode
yeah.
also ends kind of abruptly, in my opinion. Where they decided that to put the credits, it kinda took me off guard a little bit.
Mhm.
But I think, what we're both saying is that solid start for Andor.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you guys think of the premiere of Andor episodes 1 through 3? Comment down below. Let us know all your thoughts and opinions about this show so far. We'd love to hear them. And let's take a look at what you guys are saying.